Good morning, everyone. It is Krissy and Suzanna from Knox, obviously.
Good morning.
And today we're going to talk about networking. But first, I want to remind everybody that Exposure is next Thursday, and we have a booth, and we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, so if you haven't been before, it's an annual event that the Wichita Regional Chamber of Commerce produces at Century 2. And it starts at 10 a.m., it lasts all day till 5 p.m., and businesses from around the community will be there exhibiting their products and services. It is a B2B expo, so that tends to kind of be the environment that you should expect. And I think it's typical to see old friends, people you used to work with, and then also to make some new acquaintances as well. Yeah. In the Knox booth, we will actually be doing something a little bit different. Instead of giving away lots of, I don't mean to be disparaging, but junk, like, I don't know, things that are going to fall to the bottom of your bag and end up in your trash can 2 weeks later. We actually decided that at our booth we would like, of course, to receive your business cards, and then for every business card we collect, we'll be donating $1 to hurricane relief through the American Red Cross.
Yes.
And as we are speaking right now, another one is hitting, first Texas, then Florida, then Puerto Rico, and other spots in the Caribbean. So it seems like that need is just ever...
Yeah, there's a great need.
Going. So we're going to be doing that, and then we're also going to be doing Facebook Live broadcasts similar to this, but with some of the other businesses that will be attending Exposure as well, so that we aren't just talking about ourselves all day long, but also talking about some of the initiatives and plans that our neighbors and colleagues have going on. We want to kind of lift them up as well and put them in the spotlight for a little bit. So do pay attention to Facebook that day, the 28th.
Yes. And and come by our booth and say hi. And and part of that is networking. And so getting out there and meeting new people, and it's hard. It's really hard. And sometimes you walk into a room and you don't know anybody. And so I would say, I would ask you, Suzanna, what would you say to somebody who is like, I don't really need a network to run my business or to build a business?
Go to the back of the line. That wasn't very kind, but it was truth. Yeah, so it was interesting that you chose this topic for today, because I just came from an event, 1 Million Cups, where both of the entrepreneurs who spoke kind of admitted that networking was not their first love. Speaking in front of a group was not their first love, but they knew they needed to do it. They knew it was essential. If you have a product or a service and you're bringing it to market and you want people to be aware of it, networking is a must each and every week. And if you have someone in a sales and marketing position who you can hire to go out and do that on your behalf, great. But most young companies aren't quite that big yet and don't have that yet.
You got to go out and meet people and not just make contacts. I like Startup Grind. I'm not going to say this word for word, but not just making contacts, but developing relationships with people. I think that's so important, and it comes across it as it makes you an authentic person. And so going back to Exposure, we really care about our partners here in Wichita, and so that's why we want to put them on our Facebook Live and give them a little bit of airtime, because we care about their success as well.
Right.
And so, so what would you say? What tips would you give to somebody who it's their first networking event? They don't know anybody. When they walk through the door, what's the first thing that they should do?
Couple things come to mind. So this might seem a little counterintuitive, but especially for the ladies, one of the first stops that you can make as you're on your way in is actually the restroom. And hear me out here. This is not so that you can hide out during the entire event.
It's tempting.
But this is so that you can actually make some contacts with some other women. After you're done, you're washing your hands, you're fixing your hair, you're checking your lipstick, and you can kind of make some less pressure-filled or less intimidating contacts with some of those other women or men if you're in the men's restroom. And then when you go into the larger area where the networking is really happening, you already kind of know someone. Maybe not deeply, but just a little bit. It just makes you feel a little bit more at ease. oh, we had a moment in the bathroom. I told her I liked her earrings. She liked my shoes. We connected. That's really all it takes sometimes.
Yes.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is don't be afraid to use the name tags. So oftentimes name tags are either placed right here on the right side. That's the ideal location. That's where our eyes want to go. Or if the name tag is on a lanyard, it's hanging down here. So if it's on a lanyard, look, that's just an awkward spot for it to be.
That's true.
Have fun with that. Be light about that. Oh, hey, hi there, Krissy. Nice to meet you. You know, it just kind of elicits a little bit of a laugh because that other person knows you're having to look in an awkward space on their body to find their name. So, you know, just kind of keep it silly like that.
Okay.
You also want to probably try to get some kind of a drink or something to hold in your hand.
Yes.
Even if you're not a drinker, club soda or whatever, because standing in the drink line, gives you an opportunity to just kind of talk to the people in front of you or behind you or beside you if there are two lines running. And again, it's like the bathroom concept. It's a little less intimidating. You don't have to try to figure out who in this big wide open space do I need to talk to. You really just only have a few choices at that point.
I agree. And there is something for me, that's the first thing I do is after getting my name tag, of course, and I go straight to the drink line. And even if it's a glass of water, having that cup in my hand makes me feel more at ease. It's the first thing I do when somebody comes to my house. I ask them if they would like a drink because it puts them at ease and it puts me at ease at networking events.
For sure.
Yeah.
So another tip is always have a card, and that might sound really basic, fundamental, but I am shocked at how often I go to networking events and people don't have some kind of card on them, whether it's a business card or whether it's just a personal calling card. So let's say you're not an entrepreneur or you're not in business or maybe you're looking for a job. It's very inexpensive through Vistaprint or many different printing options to just print up a little contact card with your name, how you want to be contacted, whether that's an email address or a phone number or some social media platform, and then kind of how do you want people to perceive you and remember you? Are you a designer? Are you an artist? Are you looking for the next great opportunity? You can put that on your card. It'll get a little laugh, but that way you have a little bit more of that sticking power, a little more glue in other people's memory. If you don't have a card or you don't immediately do the whole thing with your phones, okay, let's just exchange it right here and now. The memory pieces separate a few hours after the event and definitely the day after the event, and you're lost.
Yeah, so I also have this goal of when I leave an event, I want to meet 5 new people. And not that I sit there and I check off 5 people because that's really not very authentic, right? If I'm just checking boxes. But my goal is to put myself out there and meet 5 new people. And so what do you do with new business cards when you get home?
Well, I usually try to look those people up on LinkedIn, and I try to do it right away within 24 hours, or else I know that they're just going to go to the bottom of my purse, and, you know, that's a big black hole. So I do try to do that right away. If they're not on LinkedIn, then I may try to look them up on Facebook, but I do try to kind of make that next layer of contact, and if it's someone that I want to have a coffee meeting or a cocktail meeting with, I do try to follow up with that invitation within 24 or 48 hours as well, because you just have to strike while the iron is hot. Yeah. Or easily distractible people.
Well, they remember your face. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
I do have one other thought that I debated about whether to share it because I'm going to be like outing one of my best techniques and people are going to know something I'm doing that I'm totally going to be busting myself here. But I am challenged with names. So I've lived in this city for a long time, over 20 years, and I know a lot of people. I have a very deep and wide network. However, because I am going so many places and doing so many things, and I have a business I run, and then I work part-time here, and then I have side gigs, so I just have a lot of iron in the fire. And one of the consequences of that is I am often forgetting names of people I should know their name. And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or embarrass myself. So oftentimes I will take a client or a friend with me to a networking mixer. And I will go up to someone I know I should know. And I'll say, have you met Krissy yet? And then that person will introduce themselves to you. I'll get to hear their name again. Oh yeah, that's John. Okay, Krissy, this is John. Yes, and then they have done the work for me of reminding me of their name without me having to come right out and ask for it.
Yeah.
Now you know my secret.
That's awesome. I mean, any little secrets to help us all out to network better are appreciated. Right, everybody?
Yeah, so if people have some, could they post them maybe below this video?
Yes, any tips that you have, post as a comment. And any questions that you have for us, please post as a comment, and we will answer them after the Facebook Live. And so thanks for hanging out and talking about networking.
It's always my pleasure.
It's so tough for especially us introverts when we go into a room and we don't know anybody. We especially don't even want to leave the house, first of all, and then when we get there, it's scary. And so hopefully you'll be able to use some of this advice that we've given you today to make your next networking event successful.
Yeah, and you know what? Don't overlook or underestimate the ones that might seem like they have nothing to do with you. So maybe you're in a certain industry and you think you should only be networking within that industry. You're really missing out on a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
Stretch your boundaries. Go to some industry that's all the way over here and has nothing to do with what your particular craft is or your particular area of expertise is. That just might be where you meet the next person you hire, or your next best friend, or the next person you work for, the next person you date. You never know.
Yeah, great advice.
All right.
Okay, so we will see you guys next Thursday at Exposure in our booth. We can't wait to see everybody and connect.
Will we see them Wednesday first on Facebook Live?
But we'll see you next Wednesday.
All right.
We will see you next Wednesday at 10:30 for sure. And please follow us on Facebook, Knox, and also subscribe to our Knox Talks YouTube channel. And we will see you next week.
All right. Bye. Everybody.